Hey everyone, my name is Kalina Fisher. I am an actor, a filmmaker, and a writer residing in Toronto. Pretty much today, I want to talk about how to get into acting. I'm going to say general tips. I'm going to specify in Toronto just because that's where I am and that's what I know most about. But these things, you can do them anywhere. So, first of all, I think there's 5 steps of getting yourself organized and started as an actor. And first of all, it's getting training. It's getting headshots, a resume, a demo reel, and then getting an agency, hopefully booking. So, first of all, to start with training, depending on the city you're in, there'll be different places to go. I think training is one of the most important things. And the reason because of that is because so many studios have coach consultations, they have ways to get involved, they have industry meetings. There's so many things that you can learn about the film industry and learn about getting into acting through those studios, as well as obviously you'll become a better actor if you're practicing. On top of that, agents really like to see that you're training on your resume, because if you're training, you're going to get better. So they won't see your audition as your final tape. They'll see you as somebody who's working and has a chance to improve. In Toronto, I recommend I go to LB Acting Studios and Armstrong Acting Studios. I'm also a graduate from Second City. And there's a lot of other good studios, but I definitely recommend those ones. They're really great. So on to the next topic. It would be resumes, which is pretty straightforward. A lot of agents really like to see that you're training, like I said before, but another thing that I'd recommend putting on it is short films, because you can book short films when you're not represented. You can technically book most things when you're not represented, but it makes it a lot easier when you are. But in regards to booking short films, there are a ton of Facebook groups. So if you're in Toronto, you can look up Actors of Toronto or Actors in Toronto. There's just various filmmaking in Toronto. There's tons of them that will show up. I think I'm probably a part of 30, 40 acting groups in Toronto. And then they'll often tell you non-union work that you can apply to on your own. The other way to do that is there's Mandy.com, Actors Access, and Casting Workbook. A lot of people who aren't represented still do use Casting Workbook and Actors Access. Mandy.com is definitely the most readily and most used as non-union actors or unrepresented actors. Pretty much you pay about $150 a year. You get on the site. Again, depending on your city or country, this might work a little bit differently. You guys might have different sites that you use for this, but I for sure started on Mandy.com. And pretty much they'll give you a whole list of non-union work, usually low paid work. You do it, that'll help you with your demo reel and your resume. The next thing I'm going to talk about is headshots. I'm not sure if I mentioned headshots at the beginning. I meant to. So the other thing I'm going to talk about is headshots. So I get my headshots from a lady in Toronto called Denise Grant, and she's very renowned. I definitely recommend her. I've also gotten my headshots from Andrew Johnson, who goes by Headshots by Andrew, and I've also gone to Helen Tansey, and they're both great as well. And there are so many other great photographers in Toronto as well. I recommend if you're just getting started and you're trying to save money, you can go somewhere cheaper. I think the goal eventually is to get great headshots, because then you stand out and you get auditions. But it's not necessarily important to get super expensive headshots at first. I started by just getting friends to take pictures and stuff like that, because I wasn't auditioning for anything too big at the time, so they weren't too picky. But as you start to audition for bigger things, it starts to matter more how good quality your photos are. So the next thing would be demo reels. And for those who don't know what that is, it's pretty much a compilation of footage of you acting. And different people recommend that you make that a different length. My coach usually says 1 to 2 minutes. I think mine is honestly probably 3 or 4 minutes. And it's just your work. So when I started, the first demo reel I had was literally footage of me doing monologues in my basement. I had no actual footage of me booking anything because I never booked anything before. But I just wanted to have stuff out there. So that's what I did. And then after that, I started to replace it after I started booking short films. And what really got it going for me is I did something at LB Acting Studios. It was a class called, it was just like a scene class, but we filmed it at Casting Central on the last day, and I would edit the footage, and then you get a scene. It's a very professional looking scene. So I started using those scenes. They're from movies already made, but that way it looks professional and you're acting with a scene partner. You're not just doing a monologue. And there's a lot of places that do that as well. LB Acting Studios also has a program called Ideal Reels, which is pretty much the same idea. You're making footage intentionally to use for your reels. So you build that up, and with time it'll get better and better. I just think it's great to do it and get started, and then with time, as you improve, you just keep editing it as you get better. Now, in regards to agencies, in Toronto at least, or actually in Canada, so Canada it's ACTRA, you can go on their website, and there's an ACTRA directory, and when you go there, you see every agency that is union affiliated. Now, there's a lot of good agencies that aren't union affiliated. My current agent isn't union affiliated, and that's totally chill. But the good thing about that list is if you don't know a lot about agencies, you know for a fact that those ones are good and legitimate. And there are different tiers of agencies, but I think that's enough to get started. I think when you're just getting started, you just want anybody. What I tend to do, because I'm a little crazy, is I have IMDb Pro, and I'll go on IMDb Pro and look at agents' rosters and see what kind of person that they're looking for, and if I think my skill set or my look is missing on their roster, that's how I know who I want to reach out to. So that's pretty much how you get started in acting. That's what I did. I am Toronto based, so those examples are in Toronto, but that being said, those things are relevant anywhere. You just have to find where your studios are, where your Facebook pages are, where your photographers are, etc., etc. So yeah, I hope that helped. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Bye.